The Galactic Council Station was a place of noise and movement. Thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds walked through its wide halls every day. There were tall ones and short ones, beings with scales and beings with fur, creatures that floated and creatures that crawled. In this endless river of strange life, one small human woman sat at her desk and did her work. Her name was... She was 29 years old. She had black hair that she kept in a simple ponytail and soft brown eyes that seemed to look at nothing in particular. She wore the plain gray uniform of a station translator, and she carried a small bag with her lunch inside. Every morning, she arrived at the same time. Every evening, she left at the same time. She was as regular as the station's lights turning on and off. The aliens around her barely noticed she existed. Worked in the translation department on level 14. Her job was simple. When important aliens needed to speak to each other, she helped them understand the words. She knew 17 languages. She could speak the clicking tongue of the deep rumbling speech of and the musical sounds of the Fen people. She learned fast, and she made very few mistakes. But nobody thought she was special. The warriors were the ones who noticed her the least. They were a proud species. They stood over 2 meters tall, with thick blue skin and 4 arms. They had fought in 100 wars and won most of them. They believed that strength was everything. They looked at small, soft creatures like humans and felt only pity. One day, a commander named walked past his desk. He was going to an important meeting with the council leaders. He needed a translator, and they had assigned him the human woman. Looked down at her. She was so small, her arms were thin. Her skin looked like it would tear at the slightest touch. He made a sound of disappointment. "This is my translator," he asked the station officer. "Yes, Commander, she is very skilled. She looks like she would break if I sneezed on her." Stood up from her chair, she bowed her head politely. "Good morning, Commander, I am ready to assist you." Her voice was soft and calm. There was nothing threatening about her, nothing interesting. Waved one of his 4 hands in a gesture that meant he did not care. "Fine, let us go. Try to keep up human." Followed him without complaint. She walked 3 steps behind him, her footsteps quiet on the metal floor. She did not try to start a conversation. She did not complain about the fast pace. She simply followed like a shadow. The meeting lasted 4 hours. Translated every word perfectly. She caught small details that other translators might have missed. When a delegate used an old word that had 2 meanings, chose the right one. When a Fen ambassador spoke too quickly, kept up without asking them to repeat. Noticed none of this. He was too busy arguing about trade routes and military agreements. When the meeting ended, he walked away without saying thank you. Did not seem to mind. She simply returned to her desk and began preparing for her next assignment. The other humans on the station liked. There were only about 50 of them, and they often ate lunch together in a small corner of the mess hall. His friend was a medical assistant who worked in the station hospital. "You look tired," said one day as they ate. Smiled, "I am okay. The commander talks very loudly. My ears are still ringing. They are so rude. They think they are better than everyone. They have their reasons. Their culture values strength. We are not strong by their standards." Shook her head. "You are too kind. If someone treated me like that, I would be angry." "Being angry does not help anyone. I do my job, that is enough." This was how lived her life on the station. She woke up, she worked. She ate lunch with her friends, and she went home to her small room on level 8. She read books on her tablet. She exercised alone in her room when no one was watching. She called her mother on Earth once a week and told her everything was fine. The aliens continued to ignore her. She was just another human after all. Small, weak, unremarkable. But sometimes, late at night, would stand by the window of her room and look out at the stars. Her eyes would change. The softness would disappear, replaced by something harder and colder. Her body would become still, like a predator watching its prey from the tall grass. in those moments, was not a translator. She was something else entirely. The council had assigned her to the station 3 years ago. Her file said she had studied languages at a university on Earth. It said she had worked as a translator for a shipping company before joining the Galactic Service. It said she had no military training and no combat experience. The file was a lie. But nobody knew that. Nobody thought to check. Why would they? She was just a small human woman who translated words and ate noodles for lunch. She was invisible, forgettable. That was exactly how wanted it. The station continued its endless rotation through space. The aliens continued their meetings and their arguments and their small wars, and continued to sit at her desk, day after day, doing her simple job. She smiled at the who mocked her. She bowed her head to the who looked through her like she was made of glass. She said, "Yes, sir," and "Of course, sir," and "Right away, sir," to everyone who gave her orders. She was the quietest person on the station, the most harmless, the least interesting. And that was the most dangerous thing about her. Because hidden beneath that soft smile and those gentle eyes was something that the galaxy had not seen in a very long time. Something that the aliens had forgotten about the human species. Something that Earth's children carried in their blood like a secret fire. Was patient. She could wait for years if she had to. She had done it before. She would do it again. But one day, very soon, something would happen. Something would wake the sleeping thing inside her. And when that day came, the aliens would learn a terrible truth. They would learn what humans were really made of. The diplomatic mission was supposed to be safe. That was what everyone said. The convoy would travel through peaceful space, visit a small moon called, and return in 3 days. Simple, easy, nothing to worry about. Did not believe in safe missions. She had learned long ago that the universe did not care about plans. The convoy had 5 ships. The main vessel was a large transport called the Silver Path. It carried 12 diplomats from 6 different species. There were 2 warriors for protection, 3 scientists, 4 Fen trade officials, and 2 human representatives. Was assigned as the translator for the group. The other human was a man named. He was a young diplomat, only 25 years old, with a bright smile and a nervous habit of touching his hair. He was excited about his first real mission. He talked too much. "This is amazing," said as they boarded the ship. "I never thought I would travel this far from the station. Have you done this before?" "A few times," she said quietly. "Are you not excited?" She looked at him with her soft eyes. "I prefer to stay calm." Laughed. He thought she was just being professional. He did not understand that was always watching, always listening, always preparing for the worst. The first 2 days of the journey were peaceful. The diplomats had meetings. They ate meals together. They talked about trade agreements and cultural exchanges. The warriors stood guard and looked bored. The Fen officials sang their evening songs. Everything seemed normal. On the 3rd day, everything changed. Was in the observation room looking out at the stars when she felt the ship shake. It was a small vibration at first, like someone had bumped into a wall. Then it grew stronger. The lights flickered. An alarm began to scream. She did not panic, she moved. By the time the first explosion hit, was already running toward the main hall. She knew the ship's layout by heart. She had memorized it on the first day, even though no one had asked her to. Old habits never died. The main hall was chaos. Smoke filled the air. One of the warriors was on the ground, blue blood spreading beneath him. The other was firing his weapon at shadows in the smoke. "Raiders," someone screamed. "We are under attack." His eyes cut through the smoke like knives. She counted the enemies. 7. No, 8. They wore black armor and carried plasma rifles. They were fast and organized, professional killers. She grabbed his arm and pulled him behind a metal pillar. He was shaking badly. "What do we do?" he whispered. "What do we do?" "Stay here, do not move." The second warrior fell. His body hit the floor with a heavy thump. The raiders moved forward, stepping over his corpse like it was nothing. Looked around. 3 of the Finn officials were wounded. The scientists were hiding behind overturned tables. 2 diplomats were already dead. The raiders were not taking prisoners. They were here to kill everyone. One of the raiders spotted and behind the pillar. He raised his rifle and walked toward them. His helmet covered his face but could feel his confidence. He thought this was easy. He thought they were just 2 weak humans. His hand found a piece of broken metal on the floor. It was sharp, about the length of her forearm. She held it behind her back. The raider stopped 3 meters away. "Come out, little ones. No point in hiding." Stepped forward. She kept her head down. Her shoulders were hunched. She looked small and scared and helpless. "Please," she said in a trembling voice, "please do not hurt us." The raider laughed. He lowered his rifle slightly. He was enjoying this. He did not see his fingers tighten around the metal shard. She moved. It happened so fast that did not even see it. One moment was standing there looking afraid. The next moment she was behind the raider and the metal shard was buried in his neck. The raider made a wet choking sound and fell. Took his rifle. She did not hesitate. She did not think. Her body moved on its own, guided by years of training that her file said she never had. She fired twice, and 2 more raiders dropped. She rolled behind a support beam as plasma fire scorched the air where she had been standing. The remaining raiders turned toward her. Their confidence was gone now. They had expected easy targets. They had not expected this. "Kill the human," one of them shouted. Was already moving. She ran along the wall, her feet silent on the metal floor. She fired once more, taking down a 4th raider. Then her rifle clicked empty. She threw it at the nearest enemy. The rifle hit him in the face, breaking his helmet's visor. Before he could recover, was on him. She twisted his neck with her bare hands. He died without making a sound. 5 down, 3 left. The surviving raiders tried to retreat. They ran toward the emergency exit, toward their own ship that was attached to the silver path, followed them like a ghost. Watched from behind the pillar. His mouth hung open. His eyes were wide. He did not recognize the woman he had been talking to just hours ago. This was not the quiet translator who ate lunch alone and bowed her head to alien commanders. This was something else, something terrifying. Caught up to the raiders in the connecting hallway. The first one turned to fire at her. She ducked under his shot, grabbed his arm, and broke it at the elbow. He screamed. She silenced him with a strike to the throat. 6 down. The second raider swung a knife at her. She caught his wrist, twisted it, and drove the knife into his own chest. His eyes went wide behind his helmet. He fell. 7 down. The last raider was almost at the airlock. He was fast, but was faster. She grabbed him from behind and pulled him to the ground. They struggled for a moment. The raider was bigger and stronger, but knew where to hit. She knew where the body was weak. She drove her thumb into a gap in his armor, finding the soft flesh beneath. The raider howled in pain. She finished him quickly. 8 down. The hallway was silent now, stood among the bodies, breathing hard. Her hands were covered in blood. Her uniform was torn, but she was not hurt, not really. She walked back to the main hall. The surviving diplomats stared at her in shock. The wounded Finn officials held their injuries and watched her with new eyes. Was still behind the pillar, frozen like a statue. Looked at them all. Her face was calm. Her eyes were empty. "Is anyone else hurt?" she asked in her soft voice. Nobody answered. Nobody could find the words. In the corner of the room, unnoticed by everyone, a damaged security drone lay on its side. Its lens was cracked, but its recording light was still blinking. It had captured everything. And one day, that recording would change everything. 3 weeks passed after the attack on the Silver Path. The Galactic Council called it a tragedy. 2 diplomats had died. 1 warrior had been killed. The raiders had been stopped, but the cost was high. There would be an investigation, they said. There would be justice. Returned to her desk on level 14. She went back to her work. She translated words. She ate lunch with. She smiled politely at the aliens who walked past her. Everything was normal again. Or so it seemed. The official report said that the raiders had killed each other in the chaos. It said that the ship's defense systems had activated and caused the damage. It said that the surviving diplomats had been lucky. Nobody questioned the report. Nobody asked how 8 professional killers had managed to die in such strange ways. Nobody asked why a small human translator had survived without a scratch. Except for one person. Commander was the who had mocked before her first translation job. He was also a senior military officer with access to classified files. When he heard about the attack on the Silver Path, something bothered him. He could not explain why. It was just a feeling. He decided to investigate. The security footage from the Silver Path had been mostly destroyed. The raiders had shot the cameras first, as professional killers always did, but was patient. He sent his technicians to search through every piece of data that had survived. It took them 2 weeks to find the drone. The drone had been damaged in the attack. Its data storage was corrupted. Most of its files were unreadable, but one of its best technicians, a young named, refused to give up. Commander said one evening, "I think I found something." Walked into the technician's workshop. It was filled with broken machines and glowing screens. Was sitting in front of a large display, his 4 hands moving quickly across the controls. "What is it?" asked. "The drone recorded the attack. Most of the footage is gone, but I managed to recover about 4 minutes. The quality is poor, but you can see what happened." Sat down, play it. The screen flickered to life. The image was broken and fuzzy, jumping every few seconds, but could see enough. He could see the main hall of the Silver Path. He could see the raiders entering. He could see his fellow warriors falling. Then he saw her. The small human woman moved through the chaos like water flowing through rocks. She did not hesitate. She did not pause. She killed the first raider before could blink. Then she killed the second. Then the third. Leaned forward. His 4 hands gripped the edge of the table. The footage followed as she chased the remaining raiders into the hallway. The drone must have crawled along the floor to keep her in view. Its broken lens captured everything. The way she moved, the way she killed, the way she did not stop until every enemy was dead. 8 raiders, 93 seconds, no weapons at the start, no mercy at the end. When the footage ended, sat in silence. He did not move, he did not speak, he just stared at the blank screen. Commander asked nervously, "Are you all right?" His mind was racing. He had fought in many battles. He had seen many warriors. He knew what skill looked like. He knew what training looked like. The human woman on that footage was not just trained. She was something beyond training. She moved like a predator that had been hunting since birth. She killed like it was as natural as breathing. And she had been walking around the station for 3 years, bowing her head and saying, "Yes, sir," to everyone who looked at her. "Who else has seen this?" asked. "No one, Commander. You are the first." "Keep it that way. Do not show this to anyone. Do not talk about it. Understood?" Nodded quickly, "Yes, Commander." Stood up and walked out of the workshop. His mind was full of questions. Who was this woman? Where did she come from? What was she doing on a Galactic Council station? He needed answers. Over the next few days, began to watch. He did not approach her. He did not let her know he was interested. He simply observed from a distance, like a hunter studying its prey. She did nothing unusual. She worked. She ate. She went home. She was exactly what she appeared to be, a quiet, harmless translator. But now knew better. Now he knew that the quiet ones were sometimes the most dangerous. He pulled her official file from the council database. It was simple and boring. Born on Earth, studied languages, worked as a translator, no military service, no criminal record, nothing interesting. The file was too clean, too perfect, had seen files like this before. They were the kind of files that governments created when they wanted to hide something. He tried to dig deeper, but he hit walls everywhere. Her early records were sealed. Her family information was classified. Her travel history before joining the Galactic Service was missing. Someone had worked very hard to erase past. Was not afraid of many things. He was a warrior who had survived 100 battles, but watching that footage had awakened something in him. Not fear exactly, but a deep respect, a recognition of danger. The humans were supposed to be the weakest species in the galaxy. They were small. They were soft. They had no natural weapons, no armor, no venom. They should have been prey, not predators. But had just seen a human woman kill 8 armed raiders with her bare hands. She had done it calmly, efficiently, without hesitation. She had done it like she had done it many times before. What else were the humans hiding? Made his decision. He would confront her. He would ask her directly. He would look into her eyes and demand the truth. He was a commander. He had faced worse enemies than a small human woman. At least that was what he told himself. Deep down, in a place he did not like to acknowledge, was not so sure. Deep down, he wondered if the humans had been playing a very long game. He wondered if they had been hiding their true nature since the day they joined the Galactic Council. He wondered what would happen if the rest of the galaxy found out what humans were really capable of. Tomorrow he would find out. Tomorrow he would talk to. And nothing would ever be the same. The mess hall was busy during the lunch hour. Hundreds of beings sat at long tables, eating food from dozens of different worlds. The air was full of strange smells and stranger sounds. Conversations in 100 languages mixed together into one constant noise. Sat alone at a small table in the corner. She had a bowl of noodles in front of her and a pair of chopsticks in her hand. She ate slowly, her eyes half closed, humming a soft melody that nobody else could hear. She looked completely at peace. Commander stood at the entrance of the mess hall. He watched her for a long moment. His 4 hands were clasped behind his back. His face was unreadable. He had not slept well the night before. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the footage. He saw her moving through the raiders like a blade through water. He saw the bodies falling. He heard the sounds of bones breaking. Now looking at her, he found it hard to believe. She was so small, so gentle. She was humming while she ate noodles for the God's sake. How could this be the same person from the video? But knew it was. He knew what he had seen. He walked toward her table. Other beings moved out of his way. They were known for their bad tempers, and nobody wanted to be in the path of an angry warrior. Did not look up as he approached. She continued eating her noodles, continued humming. Stopped beside her table. He towered over her like a mountain over a pebble. "Human," he said. She looked up, her eyes were soft and brown. There was no fear in them, no tension, just mild curiosity. "Commander," she said politely, "good afternoon, can I help you with something?" Pulled out a chair and sat down across from her. The chair groaned under his weight. He placed his 4 hands on the table and leaned forward. "I want to ask you about the Silver Path." Something flickered in her eyes. It was gone so fast that almost missed it, but he had been watching carefully. He had seen it. "The Silver Path," she repeated. "That was a terrible event. I was very scared." "Were you?" "Of course. Raiders attacked us. People died. It was very frightening." Stared at her. She stared back. Her face was innocent. Her voice was calm. She was a perfect picture of a scared victim who had gotten lucky. But knew the truth now. "I found the drone footage," he said quietly. The mess hall continued its noise around them. Nobody was listening to their conversation. Nobody cared about a commander talking to a human translator. Chopsticks paused over her bowl, just for a moment. Then she picked up another noodle and ate it. "What footage?" she asked. "You know what footage?" "I am afraid I do not understand." Leaned closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. "I saw what you did. I saw you kill 8 raiders in less than 2 minutes. I saw you move in ways that no untrained person could ever move. I saw everything." Set down her chopsticks. She wiped her mouth with a small cloth. Then she looked at with those soft brown eyes. "And what do you want, Commander?" The question surprised him. He had expected denial. He had expected lies. He had expected fear. Instead, she was asking him what he wanted, like they were negotiating a business deal. "I want to know the truth," said. "I want to know who you really are." Was quiet for a moment. She seemed to be thinking. Her fingers tapped gently on the table, a rhythmic pattern that did not recognize. "Why does it matter?" she finally asked. "Because I need to understand. Because the Council needs to understand. Because what you did on that ship, it changes things." "Changes what things?" Struggled to find the words. "Everything we know about humans, everything we believe about your species. You are supposed to be weak. You are supposed to be prey, but what I saw on that footage," he shook his head, "that was not a prey animal, that was a predator." Smiled. It was a small smile, gentle and warm, but saw something else behind it now, something sharp. "Commander," she said softly, "what do you really know about humans?" "I know what everyone knows. You come from a small planet called Earth. You have no natural weapons. You are physically weak compared to most species. You joined the Galactic Council because you needed protection." "Is that what you think?" "That is what we were told." Picked up her chopsticks again. She stirred her noodles slowly. "Let me tell you something about humans, Commander. Our planet is not a gentle place. It is full of predators, animals with sharp teeth and claws, creatures that can run faster than us, swim deeper than us, fly higher than us. By all logic, we should have gone extinct millions of years ago. But you did not." "No, we did not. Do you know why?" Shook his head. "Because we learned to be patient. We learned to watch and wait. We learned to strike at the perfect moment with the perfect force at the perfect place." She met his eyes. "We were never prey, Commander. We were always predators. We just learned to look like prey because it made hunting easier." The words hung in the air between them. Felt a chill run down his spine. For the first time in many years, he felt like he was sitting across from something truly dangerous. "Those raiders," he said slowly, "they threatened you." "No," his voice was calm. "They threatened the people under my care, the diplomats, the wounded, the young man named who had never seen violence before." Her eyes hardened. "I could not allow that." "So you killed them all?" "Yes." Without hesitation. "Hesitation gets people killed, Commander. I learned that a long time ago." Sat back in his chair. He studied her face. She was not lying. She was not pretending. She was simply telling him the truth, openly and directly. "What are you?" he asked. "I am a translator," she said. "That is my job here. That is what I do every day." "But before you came to this station, what were you?" Was quiet for a long moment. Her eyes drifted to the window, where stars shone in the endless darkness of space. "I was someone who protected people," she finally said. "Someone who did difficult things so that others could sleep peacefully. Someone who walked in dark places so that others could walk in the light." She turned back to, her face was sad now, not threatening, not dangerous, just sad. "I did not want to hurt anyone on that ship, Commander. I had hoped I would never have to use those skills again. But when those raiders came, when I saw them pointing weapons at innocent people," she shook her head, "I made a choice." "You chose to protect them." "Yes, I chose to protect them. The same choice I have made 100 times before. The same choice I will make 100 times again if I have to." Was silent. He had come here expecting a fight. He had come here expecting to expose a dangerous secret. Instead, he had found something else entirely. He had found a warrior. Not a warrior with their pride and their strength. A different kind of warrior. A quiet one. A patient one. A warrior who could hide in plain sight for years and then explode into deadly action when necessary. It was the most terrifying thing had ever encountered. And yet somehow he understood. "What will you do with the footage?" asked. Thought about it. He thought about showing it to the council. He thought about exposing her secret. He thought about what it would mean for human relations with the rest of the galaxy. Then he made his decision. "I will do nothing," he said, "for now." Nodded, "Thank you, Commander." Stood up, he looked down at her one last time. "You are a dangerous person." She smiled that gentle smile again. "Only to those who threaten the ones I care about." Walked away. His mind was full of new thoughts, new understanding, new respect. Behind him, picked up her chopsticks and continued eating her noodles. She hummed softly to herself, as if nothing had happened. Just another quiet lunch in the mess hall. Just another ordinary day on the station. Commander kept his word. He did not share the footage with anyone. He locked it away in his personal files and tried to forget what he had seen. But secrets have a way of escaping, especially in a place as crowded as a Galactic Council station. It started with: the young diplomat had been silent about the attack for weeks. He had nightmares. He could not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw moving through the raiders like a ghost. He saw the bodies falling. He saw her face, calm and empty, as she killed without mercy. One night, after too many drinks at a station bar, told his friend what he had witnessed. His friend told someone else. That person told another. Within days, the whispers had spread across the entire station. The human woman, the translator, she killed 8 raiders with her bare hands. At first, nobody believed it. The idea was ridiculous. Humans were weak, everyone knew that. They could not fight, they could not kill. They were the gentlest species in the galaxy. But the whispers continued. More details emerged. People who had been on the Silver Path started talking. The Fen officials described what they had seen. The scientists confirmed the story. Soon, the Galactic Council could no longer ignore it. They summoned to the Great Chamber. The Great Chamber was an enormous room at the heart of the station. It had walls of glass that showed the stars in every direction. In the center was a raised platform where the council leaders sat. 12 beings from 12 different worlds, the most powerful people in the galaxy. Walked into the chamber alone. She wore her simple gray uniform. Her hair was in its usual ponytail. Her face was calm and expressionless. Thousands of beings watched from the observation galleries above. This was the biggest event on the station in years. Everyone wanted to see the human woman who had done impossible things. The head of the council was unnamed. She was ancient, her scales faded with age, her voice dry like wind over sand. "You are the one called?" asked. Bowed her head. "Yes, honored council. We have heard disturbing stories about you, stories about the attack on the Silver Path, stories that seem impossible." Leaned forward. "We demand the truth." "I will tell you whatever you wish to know." "Then explain. Explain how a human translator killed 8 armed raiders in less than 2 minutes." The chamber fell silent. Every eye was on. She stood in the center of the platform, small and alone, surrounded by beings who were bigger and stronger than her in every way. She did not look afraid. "I protected the people under my care," she said simply. "That is all." "That is not an answer," said sharply. "We have seen the footage. Yes, we obtained it from Commander. We know what you did. What we want to know is how. How does an ordinary translator have such skills?" Was quiet for a moment, then she sighed. It was a small sound, tired and old. "Because I am not an ordinary translator," she said. "I never was." Gestured to an assistant. Unseal her file, her true file, the one that Earth has been hiding from us. There was a pause. Then new information appeared on the screens throughout the chamber. Words and numbers and images that made the audience gasp. Name, former designation, Shadow 7. Service record, 17 confirmed operations. Status, retired. The file showed everything. Her training, her missions, the enemies she had eliminated, the lives she had saved. Year after year of service in places that the Galactic Council did not know existed, doing things that governments would never admit to. She was not a translator who had learned to fight. She was a fighter who had learned to translate. "You are a weapon," said slowly. "Earth sent a weapon to our station and disguised her as a harmless worker." "Earth did not send me," said. "I asked to come here. I wanted to leave my old life behind. I wanted to be normal." She looked up at the council with her soft brown eyes. "I was tired of killing. I thought if I came here, if I worked a simple job, I could be at peace. I could forget what I was." "But you did not forget." "No, I did not. When those raiders attacked, when I saw them threatening innocent lives, my training took over. I could not stop it. I would not stop it." Her voice grew stronger. "I will not apologize for protecting people." The chamber was silent. The council members looked at each other with uncertain eyes. They had expected a monster. They had expected a cold killer. Instead, they found a tired woman who just wanted to live in peace. Watch from the observation gallery. His 4 hands gripped the railing tightly. "She is not a threat," he suddenly called out. His voice echoed through the chamber. "I have watched her for weeks. She works. She eats. She lives quietly. She only uses her skills when there is no other choice." Commander said coldly, "You are out of order." "I do not care. I have been a warrior for 50 years. I know what danger looks like. This woman is not dangerous unless you make her dangerous, unless you threaten the things she cares about." Looked up at him. For just a moment, something like gratitude flickered in her eyes. Was silent for a long time. The other council members whispered among themselves. Finally, the old raised her hand for silence. "Let me ask you one more question," said Tu. "Are there more like you on Earth? More weapons?" Smiled. It was a small smile, but it changed her whole face. In that moment she did not look tired or sad. She looked proud. "Honored Council," she said, "every human is like me." A murmur ran through the chamber. "What do you mean?" demanded. "I mean that I am not special. I receive training, yes, but the ability to protect, the willingness to fight for what we love, that is in every human. It is in our blood. It is in our history. For thousands of years we have survived by protecting our families, our friends, our homes. We look small. We look weak. But when you threaten what we care about," she paused, "we become something else." The council stared at her. The audience stared at her. The entire station, watching through screens and broadcasts, stared at her. "Humans are not prey," continued. "We never were. We are quiet because we choose to be quiet. We are peaceful because we want to be peaceful, but do not mistake our gentleness for weakness. Do not mistake our patience for fear." She looked directly at. "We protect what we love. That is all we have ever done. That is all we will ever do." The chamber was absolutely silent. Not a sound, not a whisper, just the soft hum of the station's life support systems and the beating of 1,000 hearts. Finally spoke, "What do you want us to do with this information?" Shrugged. It was a simple gesture, almost casual. "Whatever you wish. I have no more secrets to hide. I am just a translator who once had another life. I came here to find peace. I hope I can still have it." The council debated for 3 hours. In the end, they made their decision. Would be allowed to stay. She would keep her job. She would continue her quiet life on level 14. But she would also be given a new title, Special Advisor on Human Affairs. Her job would be to help the council understand her species better. She accepted with a small bow. As she left the chamber, caught up to her. "That was well done," he said. "Thank you for speaking for me, Commander." You did not need my help. You had them the moment you started talking. He paused. I have a question. Yes. What you said about all humans being like you, was that true? Looked up at him. Her soft brown eyes held depths that was only beginning to understand. Every word, she said. We are a species of survivors, Commander. We have been fighting since before we had words for it. The ones like me, the trained ones, we are just a little more obvious about it. But every human carries the same fire inside them. Every single one. Nodded slowly. I will remember that. Please do, she smiled. And please tell your people, tell everyone, humans are not what you think we are. We are not weak. We are not harmless. We are just very, very patient. She walked away, her footsteps quiet on the metal floor. Just a small woman in a gray uniform, returning to her ordinary life. But knew the truth now. So did the council. So did everyone on the station. The humans had been hiding among them for years, looking harmless, acting gentle, smiling and bowing and saying, yes, sir, to everyone who looked at them. They had been watching, they had been waiting, they had been patient. And now the galaxy knew what humans really were. The never underestimated them again, neither did anyone else. Went back to her desk on level 14. She translated words. She ate lunch with, she called her mother on Earth and told her everything was fine. She was finally at peace. But somewhere deep inside her, the fire still burned. The fire that every human carried. The fire that made them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they were strong. Because they were willing to do anything to protect what they loved. And that was a power that no alien could ever truly understand.